He said, "Oh, these are my attorneys." Where were you? At Rigoletto.
You can retell. I'm laughing just you're reminding me of the scenes.
Yeah, really.
They're funny.
And that's they were so amusing. I show up almost every day, whether I worked or not. I just enjoyed hanging out with him, you know, talking with Billy, you know, getting in an insight to movies, the way he set up shots. I learned a lot from Billy Wilder. I use it now. On any project I work, I know that lens, I know where it is, I know where it's going to move. I try to move that camera and I become one person. That's that's the stuff I picked up from Billy. And he'd worked with all of the great players, and to think that I was one of them, and he thinks of me that way. I mean, you know, that's the joy and the pleasure and the texture of the work. I think of it that way. You see, to me, it isn't just to learn lines or, well, that's easy to learn a line, you know, get a feeling to bring something with it, you know, something that an audience discovers just by your face without having to understand what you're saying until later. Billy Wilder set up jokes in that movie that paid off later. I better get out of here because it'll be Goodbye, Charlie. Goodbye, Charlie. George Raft. Too bad, Charlie. You would have had a full house. No, Spats, no.
I always liked Joan Shawley. It's her band. Marilyn plays
When
in her
she
band.
walked down that train, going to the bathroom, you knew just what she was going through. You know, she brought, again, a little extra tom, which actors should be able to do. And that's where Billy allowed us that privilege. He allowed Joan to become an impresario. You know, that was all her behavior. And they wrote it with that in mind.
Well, I think also he came out of that era of Hollywood when they used to relish all those character actors, those supporting actors who would have those moments.
Always.
And he, I think he not only allowed them, he enjoyed having them
Absolutely.
do those things.
And giving a player like Joey Brown, forget the word like, giving Joey Brown the most famous joke line of all time. You can't say it's a bit player or a co-star, nothing, got nothing to do with nothing. You know? Those lines were just precise and clean and distinct. And,
now, there was some talk of dubbing your voice.
yes.
And
When the picture started, I couldn't get the right elevation of my voice. I kept slipping in and out and slipping out. And there was an actor, I don't remember his name, a very fine voice actor, who came in, did some dubbing. Then they combined the two, and then it ended up what it was. They modulated it, I think. You know, Jack they didn't touch because you see, Jack was outright impudent. You know, I wanted to maintain that rather quiet. You know, I could never quite reach that tone.
well, it doesn't come naturally. It's not. It's
Well,
not
I didn't
your
even.
vocal
It didn't make
range.
any difference to me. I only wanted that look.
Yeah.
I knew the look.
Yeah.
I knew how to stand.
Right.
You know, and it's a visual medium. You could do anything with sound. You know. And I knew that. That's why I did Cary Grant, and that's why as Joe I did my good old-fashioned New York Bronx Momza. You know.
It's going to be obvious to ask this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Why do you think it does hold up so well? Not every film, not every good film
No.
of 1959
No.
plays as well
I
today.
agree with you, and I'm not quite sure what the. I think it's all of that chemistry. I think the meaning comes after the work. It was just, and you know, this Billy Wilder never tried to duplicate it.
Now tell me about there's a famous story about a stripper in a cave.
Oh yeah, listen. By that time, the picture we were near the end of it, and poor Billy was having back troubles and he couldn't sleep. Oh, we're down in San Diego, and I'm saying, Billy, I'm having trouble sleeping at night down here. He says, I shall give you one of my French suppositories, put you to sleep instantly. I says, great. So the next morning he said, did you do it? I said, yes, my ass fell asleep, but I was up all night. That was Billy Wilder and me, okay? So this was a lot of stress for Billy. I could see it, really stressed out. So Edward G. Robinson Jr. is going to come in a cake. Pops out of it with a machine gun, mows down George Raft, right? George Raft says some joke and dies. So I got this stripper, big bosoms, to get in the cake. And I let a few people know. And when she burst out of the cake, we all sang, "He's a jolly good fellow." I organized it, you know, and nobody knew it but me, the prop man, and a couple of other people. And so I was standing next to Billy. We were supposed to be under the table, standing next to him. When she popped out, he almost fainted. I said, "Come, Billy, step." No, he wouldn't step forward. He didn't know what it meant. Then we all started to sing that song for him. That's nice, isn't it?
That's lovely.
Made me feel good.
Maybe gave him a moment of relaxation.
Well, it did. That
and
was
what must have been a pretty tense.
right, and a perfect time for him too.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
all the guys were around. He's a fine man. You know.
You've got a lot of pictures on your resume that are going to hang around a long time, but this one may be at the very top of the list.
Hal, I couldn't be happier. I feel my contribution, if I may be so bold, I feel my contribution is a major one in the picture. I played straight both for Marilyn and for Jack, and I had my own moments. You know,
Yeah.
that's very tasteful for me. Audrey Wilder said, "Tony, I'm telling you, the job you do is superb. You give that picture, you tie it together." Well, you know, I never thought of it that way, and I don't think of it this way now. But that was what my job at that time was, you know. And I like talking about the picture with you because it's nice to examine all those subtleties that went on and tell you all of these amusing little incidences because they're part of the movie. I'm sorry all actors didn't do a little dissertation after the movie was over, give you a little insight to what went on, what didn't go on, you know. I took Meryl, I said, "Meryl, I want to try this out." She said, "What?" I said, "Come on." We went out to Gold Room, right up there. And we went into the ladies' room. And I said, "I want to see if this works." So I went to the mirror and putting my lipstick on, and she's standing on the side laughing. You know, and the girls are coming in and out of the stall. Nobody stops them. I pull her out. I said, "Well, it worked." She says, well, before she could say anything, a girl walked by and said, "Hi, Tony."
Didn't you and Jack try it once? Too?
Yeah, well, I did it with Jack. I did it with anybody dressed up.
Now, what happened when you and Jack tried that out? That was early on,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, no, very early on. I tried it. I instigated it with Jack.
Yeah.
So I took Jack in, and I went in front of a mirror and started fixing my hair. I didn't want to open one of those stalls because I didn't want to be caught opening a stall. I mean, you know, and neither did Jack. So we both sidled up to each other's shoulder and in the mirror fixing our makeup. And I watched Jack through my mirror on him. And he was loving it. He was enjoying it. I mean, you know, I just went into the lips and just kind of pull. Not Jackie. Jackie, darling, kind of adjusted his wig. I says, "All right, dear, come on, let's go. It's a little, we've been in here long enough."
But you got away with it.
Oh, I love Jack. I mean, we had such.
But I mean, but did that? The way I heard the story, maybe I heard it wrong.
Please.
Was that it helped give him confidence? That it helped convince him he could get away with this
Well,
masquerade?
yeah, particularly with the way he was playing it. You see, he wasn't playing it. I won't say subtly, but he wasn't playing it quietly. And he wanted to get a little more gregarious. And we both liked the idea that one of us was screaming and the other one was restrained. And so anything we could do to do that, you know, we'd go to parties after work or whatever, somebody's house party, and I always go up to his table and ask him to dance. We'd get up and dance with Cary Grant watching it. It was too good. And nobody knew about the picture then. Nobody knew what was going on. What are these two guys dancing?
What must they have thought? Yes.
And it helped Jack. I could see it helped Jack. You know, his scenes with me were always magnificent. He felt free. He felt open. That made me feel wonderful because, and I felt the same way. You know, we were gifts to each other.
Now, there have been a lot of great comedies. We could sit here and rattle off lots of names of great movie comedies. But when the American Film Institute had its poll, Some Like It Hot was number one.
Number one. Isn't that thrilling?
That's pretty impressive.
That is very impressive. And the thing that we were connected with it, you know, and that I'm able to remember these stories about it.
Well, what's great about DVD now is that on the same disc as the movie, I get to sit here